Sight reading does not have to be as complicated as it can feel sometimes. So today I'm going to be going over just a general overview of how notation works, how notes on the staff work, so that you can approach sight reading with some confidence. So to begin, we have this beautiful grand staff so that we can see how everything works together to create the notation system that we use. So let's take a look. What do we have here? We've got lines and spaces, and we've got these two symbols, which you are probably pretty familiar with as they are very synonymous with music in general. So up here, we've got the treble clef. So the treble clef is this really pretty sort of swirly design, and it's also known as the G clef, and there's a really good reason for that, which we'll talk about in a minute. Then down here we've got the bass clef, and it is the bass clef because it's what's played lower on the piano. So the bass clef usually connects to the left hand, where the treble clef is usually for the right hand. Now this bass clef's also got like an alternate name, also known as the F clef, which we will talk about later as well. So to begin, we're going to start with the treble clef. So for now, I want you to ignore this middle line, and we're just going to talk about what we see from here up. So we've got line 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 lines and 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of those lines and spaces has a note name attached to it. And remember when we talked earlier about this treble clef having a nickname G clef? Well, that's because this line that runs through the center of the treble clef's kind of curl here is G. So if you want a really easy note to identify, it's this guy right here, G. So G is line 2. So when we move from a line to a space, we're literally just stepping up one note name. So if this is G, this is important, our musical alphabet runs from A to G and then repeats itself. So after G, we go to A. After A, if we move to the line note, we end up on B. After B, we end up on C. Okay, so notice how we're moving line, space, line, space. This is going to really help you with your sight reading. After C, we have D on the line. After D, we have E in the space. And after E in the space, we have F. And this can keep going, but we're going to just stick within the general staff for now. So second line up is G. It's the line that goes through the center of the treble clef's curl, also known as the G clef for that reason. And then we just go up our musical alphabet from there using every line and every space consecutively. So that's really important to know. Now I'm going to take all these away for a second, and we're going to look at sort of the bottom